Alright everyone, Alex the Railroader here. I got some new stuff to show you. I ran into a good deal with this Wonderland Express train set. It comes with a 260 locomotive. I believe this is called a Mogul. Still learning all the names of the locomotives and stuff, but yes, it comes with an unpowered tender. That means it doesn't draw power from the track, but the locomotive does. And then there are 3 passenger cars that go with it. Now, these are the exact same style of passenger car that I already bought. So I have one in the living room, and it goes with these. So anyway, what I liked about this set was that it came with a combine car as well as a observation car for the very end. You can tell by the observation railing in the back. I'll remove these in a second to show you guys. But first, I want to see if the locomotive actually works. So on my kitchen counter here, I've just set up this temporary track. Please forgive the mess. I kind of just shoved everything to the side so I can make room here. But yeah, so we're going to test this. Alright, so from what I know about this locomotive was that these locomotives were introduced by the Bachmann Train Company in 1998, and as a matter of fact, I believe this particular locomotive was one of their actual 1998 holiday season lineups, because this is a Christmas train. Their intention was to sell it for people to run around their Christmas tree. I don't really like the color scheme, but if I can get this locomotive to work, which we'll see in a second, then I will probably change the color scheme to something more dignified, something more prototypical, fix up the locomotive, and then use it for my train layout. So the front coupler is not even there. I don't know if it broke off or if it was never even installed. Most locomotives nowadays, when you buy them, they have the tender picks up electricity along with the locomotive, so you get nice consistent power. But this one wasn't built that way. It's only the locomotive that picks up power. So let's see. But I also don't like this ugly air tank here. I think I might even remove that. But first, let's just see if this thing actually runs. So turn on the power. And let's see, bringing up the electricity. I'm not seeing anything. The headlight is definitely not illuminating. It's on, but it seems to not be. It probably hasn't been ran in a while, so maybe the wheels are a little, I don't know, dirty? Oh, wait, it just shifted on its own. I don't feel any buzzing or anything. Oh, wait, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so the wheels might be a little bit dirty. I briefly looked when I first opened the package, and the contacts that touched the wheels looked like they were really, really dirty. So it just might need a good cleaning. Let's go the opposite direction. Because if I push down, it seems to get more contact with the rails. So it looks like the motor still works. Alright, so this is the whole lineup of the cars here. This fourth one is the original car that I bought, and you can see it with the whole lineup of all 4 cars. This is all I wanted, was four passenger cars for the Forney locomotive to pull. And then I'll probably be putting together a freight train pretty soon, because as you saw, I bought gondola cars with my last purchase. So right now I have the power on to show you that there are lights inside these locomotives. You can see one right there through that window. And then in this one, that light works as well. And then the car I originally purchased, the light works. Sorry, that's a little... There we go. The light works. And then the observation car, the light works as well. It's not as bright. But yeah, I really like these cars. It says Wonderland Express on the side, and because it is a Christmas train. But I think if I do a little painting, just a slight bit of paint alteration, I can get rid of that. I don't want people to think it's a Christmas train. But I like the color scheme. I like the maroon with the dark green, and then the gold painted lettering and all that. I really like it. So anyway, this whole train set came with a bunch of Bachmann Easy Track. Problem is, when I took out the Bachmann Easy Track, it was so badly corroded. Because, again, this is from, like, 1998. It's, like, 21 years old. The track was so badly corroded, I don't even think it's usable. And even, frankly, there were, what do you call them? The rail joiners were, some of them were just plain missing. Other ones were just badly corroded. So I didn't even want to bother. I was originally going to give them to my friend, but now that I saw how badly they were corroded, I just I don't think that's right to give him broken stuff. So, but anyway, again, I still have this this test track for testing trains. In a second, I'm going to test to see if the Forney will pull all of these. From my last test, I know it will. But first, let's show you inside the cars, because I want to talk to you about something else I purchased. So I've removed the roofs of the cars so you can see what it looks like above. They have a really basic system for lighting up the LED light. If I get in the shade here, maybe, yeah, you can see I have it illuminated there in the center. I don't know if that'll focus. There we go. Yeah, so it's really simple. This is weird. This is one of the windows from the cars, completely fallen off. That's okay. I'll stick that right there and deal with that later, because I will be fixing these up today a little bit. And then here's the observation car. Same thing. I have removed the roof so you can see the light in the center. Now, what's interesting is there are 3 holes punched into this this plastic slot that the incandescent bulb is in. See, there's one of the slot little holes in the center there. If I can focus. And anyway, so what I plan to do is, because it's such a simple setup and easy to convert... Oh, that one came off. Turn back on. Oh well, it's incandescent. Anyway, point is, all these cars have that. So, because there are 3 slots instead of just 1 for putting 1 bulb, I'm actually going to convert all these cars to LED. So 2 LEDs per car. 1 in the front, 1 in the back, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, and so on and so forth. Because having just 1 light in there just doesn't look all that realistic. Like, cars like these would have at least had 2 light sources. Most likely like 4, but still, it just didn't seem right. It just doesn't look right to me. And anyway, LED will last longer, shine brighter, be more consistent, all that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is replacing these LEDs. So I purchased some extra wire and stuff like that to fiddle around with this, but the LEDs probably won't come for another couple days. Nevertheless, these cars have some windows that popped out, and they're now just laying around inside the cars. So I'm going to be gluing those windows back in, hopefully if they're all in the right spot. But yeah, and one last little thing I wanted to show you. What I like about these cars is the Combine, the door opens. See? There you go. And the other door on the other side opens. They're a little finicky, but, you know, I'll probably just keep them closed all the time. I can open them, but I mean, it doesn't really matter much to me. But anyway, so overall, I'm really pleased with this train. Now, let's see how the Forney does pulling it. Alright, I got the Forney set up on the tracks. Really a delightful locomotive. So the paint scheme that is on the Forney right now is what I'm going to use as inspiration to repaint this new locomotive over here. But now, let's get this Forney going. Turn on the power, reverse the direction, and There we go. It's backing up. Oh, it doesn't want to couple. There we go. All right. Forward direction. And it's going. Well, I better get ready to stop it. All right, reverse direction. And it's doing perfectly fine. That's amazing. I'm so happy. You know, I really wanted it to pull 4 cars. I don't know why, but 3 just wasn't enough for me, so it really meant a lot to me for it to pull 4 cars, and it's doing that just fine. So that's pretty cool. Well, I just spent the last, I don't know, half hour, maybe 45 minutes cleaning the locomotive. It amounted to a mountain of these Q-tips using isopropyl alcohol. I should be using 80% or 70%, but I actually can't find it. I only have 50, and that's okay. It's never done any damage to me. So anyway, yeah, it was just incredible. What I ended up finding out was when I removed the underside of the locomotive to look at the wheels and all the inner workings, it was entirely gummed up by like this weird goo, like this really sticky goo, like just like molasses. It was so thick. And I tried to figure out what it was, and the only thing I can think of is that whoever previously owned this probably owned Lionel trains, like the really old ones, and thought that he had to grease the locomotive once in a while. Probably because he was having electrical connection issues, and that's probably because of a dirty track. But yeah, he probably just started greasing it with just any old like motor or bearing grease that he could find. And just after the course of maybe 20 years, it just turned into this thick paste, and it was just disgusting. And I had to clear it all out and then clean it up, and then I cleaned the inside of the wheels, including the underside of the wheels, cleaned all the electrical connections, the copper connections and stuff that are inside of the inner workings of the locomotive. I actually bent one out of shape on accident because I thought it was in place, but then when I screwed everything down, it wasn't. But I pushed that back into place. So, yeah. And then you may have noticed I removed the tank off the top of the locomotive. So, if you can see here, this is the tank, and it had the bell on top, and these straps kept it onto this board, and this board also had the dynamo on it. I actually like dynamos. I just didn't like this tank. Just didn't look good to me. So I just ripped it off. Actually, I was trying to safely remove it, but it ended up just breaking as I pulled it off. So, but that's okay. I'll probably keep it off for now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting the bell off of the tank and then putting the bell back on the locomotive in the place that the tank was. I'm going to see about reinstalling the dynamo, but I'll also need to get some piping for it because there was no pipe that came with it. Dynamos release steam, they exhaust steam, and got to have a pipe for that. So anyway, we'll just see how that goes, but I might leave all that off for now because I will eventually be wanting to repaint the boiler. As well as I found out that this coupler that is supposed to be here is not replaceable. There's no way to replace it. But what I did find out off of Bachmann Trains is that you can buy a whole new pilot with a working coupler. So I'll probably be doing that. It costs about $20-something. So I'll probably be buying a new pilot for the locomotive in the future. As for now, it's not bothering me. But yeah, so that's a little coverage of it, and I cleaned up all the wheels. Everything's fine. So let's see how it runs. All right, so I did some work on it, cleaned everything. There was so much gunk after cleaning the locomotive. I mean, it was just incredible. But I also I removed the tank that was up there on the top, and I glued the bell back in. So you can see there the bell is back in place. I haven't put the dynamo in yet. I'm not sure why. I don't have all the stuff to make the dynamo look complete because I think parts of it broke off, so I'd have to repair it anyway. So I didn't put the dynamo back in, but the tender is back on, and I actually replaced the light with an LED light. Now, there might be an anomaly on the video because I shoot this at 60 frames per second, and the LED also lights up at just about that same rate. So you might see the light go in and out, but in real life, the LED stays on constantly. So anyway, it's really, really great. Now, the work I did on putting the LED in, let me focus on that, isn't top notch. I'm not the best at that kind of stuff, but I'll try to hide it with. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on that. Anyway, I'll try to hide it with other things in the future. Just dress it up, make it look nicer. But I got the LED in, and by all means, it's working. So, anyway, I'm gonna call today a job well done, and I'm really happy with the restoration work I did on the locomotive. Got it running. And why don't I just show you the locomotive moving as kind of a last. And the locomotive moves smoother now. It actually moves a lot faster than it did before I cleaned it. So I'll go ahead and there we go. I'm purposely running it slow just so you can see it move. All right, and I'm sure if I can add some power pickups to the tender in the future, which I'm sure I can, this will run even smoother. So anyway, thanks for joining me. See you later, guys.